each time I move through a piece of healing or I find a wound and I find where the root of the wound came from, it's like I'm unfolding this story of myself and uncovering a lot about who I am. And I think there's this endless need to understand myself deep.
And growth is fun. I mean, it sounds scary at times. You do go through some shitty times, I guess, but it's also a lot of fun.
So once again, the answers lie within.
Mhm.
And once we get to know the inner self and honor her and respect her, all the parts of her, then we can easily choose what's for us and what's not. Welcome back, beautiful souls, to another episode of Awakening Souls podcast with your hosts, Candice, Rose, and Jennifer here today. We're diving deep into something that I know many of us have struggled with at some point. The feeling that we are broken, that we need to be fixed, that we must constantly strive for healing in order to feel whole. But what if I told you you are not broken? You never were. What if healing isn't about fixing something that's wrong, but rather unfolding to your fullest, most authentic self? What if instead of feeling like we constantly need to repair ourselves, we shift the energy and we focus on curiosity and openness and knowing that we are divine beings just having a human experience? So today we're going to shift the narrative away from lack, away from endless self improvement cycles, into something much more empowering. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's get started.
Well, we picked a heavy topic today.
We did. And I was really surprised, Candice, that you actually wanted to do this topic.
Yeah. Well, here's my problem. I've been listening to a couple of books recently about I'm just started listening to the book The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie. And this is the daughter of Ruby Frankie. And Ruby Frankie was a YouTube sensation who had like a blog and a YouTube channel about her family and how to raise her family. And she got really popular off of her like strict parenting style, which ended up being she was convicted of abuse just a
Oh
couple
my
of years.
gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
30 years of jail or something.
Yep. 30 years of jail time. And not only her story, but also the story of Jill Duggar from the
Oh,
Duggar family.
you're reading her
Mhm.
book?
I just finished her book this morning.
Oh, I want to read that. How is it?
It's really good. And both of their stories are about a lot of trauma. And we all know that I have struggled with a lot of trauma in my childhood. And there's something in me that needs to understand other people's stories around trauma.
Mm.
And I don't know exactly why that is. Probably I'm looking for more information about how to fix myself. So this is very interesting that I decided to pick this topic. And now, underneath all the frustration I felt this morning, I'm finding that there's definitely some pain there and probably triggered from the stories that I've been listening to. But yeah, I picked this topic and there we go. So that's what we're rolling with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So I went and did a channel and asked Spirit, what are some good topics for us to talk about today? And it gave us four. And this is the one, as I was channeling this, I thought, oh, Candace is not going to want to do this one.
Oh, really?
I did. That's what my ego mind was saying, as my other part of my mind was listening to the channel. So I'm glad. That's good. That shows that you are open to adopting a different story or a different narrative
I think
for
what
who you
I'm
are.
I think I'm trying to understand more. It's
Hmm.
like each time I move through a piece of healing or I find a wound and I find where the root of the wound came from, it's like I'm unfolding this story of myself and uncovering a lot about who I am. And I think there's this endless need to understand myself deeper, why I'm just fascinated by human behavior and how our past creates who we become, and the notion that we also have the ability to change that and that our past doesn't have to dictate who we are. And so my journey has been about unfolding all of those layers and changing my story already. And yeah, I think it's also important to remember for myself that I am not broken and I'm not always going to feel this way. And I move through waves where I'm in deep in the healing of my own traumas and my own pains. And then there's times where I'm out of that and I'm just smooth sailing and living the best life I can and feeling like the trauma doesn't have such a profound effect on my future and on who I am right now. But it's kind of an internal tug of war, an internal battle between both of those sides of myself.
I think many of us do deal with that same tug of war. I know I do as well. So I can really relate to that. Some days I just feel like I'm on top of the world and it's all love and light and I'm super, super happy. And other days it's just like hits me like a ton of bricks. And sometimes I'm like, where did this come from? And I do feel very broken and very pushed down. So I can totally relate to that. And the more we understand, the deeper we go, hopefully, the better we can experience life and not be taken down
Yeah.
so often or so deeply. Yeah. So it's a good topic.
Well, I think that it's also important, kind of my thoughts about at least my journey, because I can only really speak from a personal perspective, but my past has a lot to do with who I am now. It has shaped my future. And for a while there, it shaped it in the worst ways. And I was a ball of crumbling anxiety, PTSD, and there was absolutely no part in the clouds where the sun could shine. And through healing, I have found myself, I have found so much love for myself and for my past and respect for my past and gratitude that I was able to get to where I am almost because of my past, not in spite of my past, but would I have been this strong, powerful person, compassionate person that I am now if I hadn't had the past that I had? And I don't think I have the answer to that. But I think there's both this need to be grateful for what we experienced, but also not holding on to it so tightly that it dictates who we are and who we become.
Yeah. In my mind, I'm always trying to say that was an experience that I had. It's part of who I am, but it isn't who I am completely. It doesn't define me. But
Yeah.
sometimes that's hard to do,
Yeah.
especially
Because
when you get triggered and you don't know why you're getting triggered, and all of a sudden you're doing things that, you wouldn't normally do.
I think that we're still learning in the world of psychology and metaphysical world and spiritual world and all the things. We're still learning about how much our childhood shapes who we become, shapes our identity. And a lot of that ends up being very subconscious. And this is one of the reasons why I speak so strongly about working with your subconscious, is because all of those things that happened to you as a small child, even as a baby, were you asked to cry it out as a baby? You weren't getting coddled and given the love that you needed and support that you needed as a 6-month-old child. I mean, you're already forming beliefs that young that say, oh, my voice doesn't need to be heard. Oh, I don't deserve love. And those things just get lodged in the subconscious and then they form our identity. And so it's like a battle with the identity of who I am versus what I've experienced that doesn't determine who I am.
So it's finding the true self amidst all the noise.
Yeah. Which is kind of a lifetime journey.
It really is. It really is peeling the onion. And there are so many ways. It's like we're programmed. We get programming and it's always coming at us. Different programs are our parents or our caregivers. We get programs from media, television, social media. I've been caught in this cycle more than one time where I keep searching and searching and searching for the magic whatever that's going to fix me, even though I'm not really broken. And I get pulled in and to somebody's new method or some new class or, some new thing that is going to all of a sudden make me be perfect when I already am perfect. And it's hard to resist that because we are so inundated with all of that information that is telling us that we need this in order to be whole. So, how do we find our wholeness amidst all that noise?
That's the question.
Yes, it certainly is a good one.
Not one that I think I have an answer to. I don't know. It's a story that is evolving and constantly unfolding for each of us as individuals. And the answer isn't going to be clear for each individual person, or not a collective answer, at least. It's going to make sense for everybody. And everyone's journey is so incredibly unique about how they come to find their authentic self. And it's really about writing the journey. And it's also not to say, to your point of like, I'm already whole, I'm already perfect. I think there's this element of like really need to accept who you are in the now, but that doesn't mean you can't strive for better. You can't strive for improvement. But then it comes back to we don't dwell and revert back to our past being our identity. And that's a hard balance to find. And I think, like you said, the onion, constantly peeling back the onion pieces and unfolding a little bit here and a little bit there. And then we're slowly revealing who we are as authentic people, what is authentic to us. And it's like letting go of the conditioning that we've had from what you said, our parents, how they were raised, what is generational trauma, how our religion impacted us. If we had religion, did it impact us? How our school impacted us? And there's so many factors here that built this onion of protection of conditioning. And it's our path, our journey to kind of slowly peel back those onion pieces and say, this doesn't feel like me. This doesn't feel good. And so as we're peeling them back through that healing or through that awareness, then we can get closer to the authentic self. But I actually don't think we're going to find our full authentic selves in this lifetime. I think it is a journey that unfolds over several lifetimes.
I want to disagree with that. I think in this lifetime, and this is my perspective, that we do hit our authentic selves, but maybe not every moment of the life. I think there are moments in my life when I am 100% being who I authentically am in that moment. So, can I touch my true authentic self? Yes. Is it all the time? Definitely not. I'm becoming more and more aware of that as I'm moving forward in life and as I'm learning, as I'm allowing to accept all the parts of myself, the shadow and the lovely and everything in between. I don't like the idea of saying I'm not going to get it done. Maybe I'm not going to be fully authenticized in this lifetime, but hell yeah, I'm going to touch that and I'm going to try and keep reaching for that as much as I can.
I don't disagree with that at all. And I don't think you were disagreeing with me. I think it was more of like an and also we can
Yeah.
hit the authentic self. Maybe it is a lifetime journey, maybe it is over several lifetimes, but we do have moments where we come back to finding that authenticity.
It's interesting. I've been doing a lot of reading and listening to R.J. Spina's work. And he is one that is really helping me to differentiate what's my mind and what is my higher self, my soul self, my spirit self. And I really like the idea that your mind is actually like a computer program.
Mm-hmm.
And it's running from your past experiences. It's running from your programming. And the only information that the mind has is past experiences. So every program that it's running, it's from things that have already happened to you or that you've already been exposed to. I can almost feel a difference in my energy when I'm focusing different ways. It's been kind of freaky. So, like when I'm just living regular life and letting my mind just continuously whirl and think about whatever it wants to think about, my energy feels one way. And then it's almost like I detach from the mind and I start seeing it as a computer program and I allow my energy to get bigger and feel more of my whole self. All of a sudden, the chatter in the mind has less importance, and I don't feel as strongly that I have to follow all the ideas in my mind. It's like another part of me is analyzing the chatter and deciding whether it should take that into consideration. Is that true? Is that real? And it's just really interesting focusing on your energies. If you think of the sentence, I am broken, I need to fix myself, feel the vibration into that. Just feel that for a minute within yourself. How does that feel? I am broken, I need to fix myself. Okay. And then put that away and now feel the vibration of, I am open to experiencing life. I'm curious. Isn't that a different vibration? I hope you can feel that. I hope you can. And that's kind of the vibration that's different in my mind. Sometimes my mind feels very closed, but then when I open up to the idea that my mind is just one part of me and there's a whole lot more beyond, and I expand into that bigger awareness of myself, all of a sudden the vibrations are much bigger. So that's been my experience lately as I'm working my way through that work, is really just to feel vibrationally the differences and trying to lean into those bigger, more expansive vibrations while still honoring the importance that my mind has.
Yeah.
Does that make sense at all? It's hard to
Yeah.
articulate that.
Well, there's a lot of power in the stories we tell ourselves. So the internal narrative of I'm broken has one vibration, which creates more of that cycle of feeling broken, more experiences and opportunities that come your way that tell you you're broken, that prove to you that you're broken. But changing, just tweaking that a little bit can change what you experience, can change what opportunities come your way, can change how you perceive what your experiences are.
Yeah. And the other thing that I've really been paying attention to as I'm working through my life is the tension release cycle. So that is a cycle that is so subconscious. Like you say, Candice, everything is happening subconsciously. And it's like it's starting to bubble up to the surface. And so, that's something that's used in marketing, in social media. I mean, they intentionally train people how to use this to pull in somebody's energy. So, an example of the tension release being used in media, if somebody's creating a YouTube video, the first thing they want to do is pose a question. And then they don't give you the answer until near the end of the video. Because as soon as they pose that question, you're in a state of tension and you need a resolution for that release. And so by posing that question, you're stuck in the video. I mean, you can still click off of it, but you're more likely to stay tuned to find the answer to that question.
Mm-hmm.
Or like they say, I'm going to give you 5 reasons. Okay, you want to stay for all 5 reasons because you don't know which reason might be something that you need. So it's that tension release. And, that is marketing that's used to tell us we have problems too. I'm going to give you this problem, and maybe you didn't even know you had it, but all of a sudden you're watching a video about this problem and it relates to you in some way. And you think, oh my God, I have that problem. And now to get that release, you need to purchase their program or take their class or do whatever to get that release. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing because we do want to experience new things, but we want to do it consciously. We don't want it to be happening subconsciously. So I'm noticing as I'm going through my life when I'm experiencing that tension, and then I'm asking, okay, is this something that somebody else is creating to pull me in? Or is this something that I really do need to address in my life?
I was just watching a video this morning. Well, I was scrolling through YouTube and some guy was like, here's what you need to know for tax season 2025. I don't even know why tax season was on there. And he's like, stick around for number one. I'm going to start with number five, but stick around for number one. I'm like, oh, okay. No, click. Not interested.
You know what happens when you start waking up, which is when you're starting to do the deconditioning and the healing and letting go of those stories, is that you can see clearer
Yeah.
when those things are happening. And you can then use your intuition and decipher whether or not you want to stick around. Is that something that's actually for me, or is this something that they're pulling on my wounds and trying to drag me in? And it's maybe not right for me. I mean, every business has to have some sort of, there's a huge competition. There's just a pool of businesses out there who are competing for other people's attention to find the right market. And it's not a bad thing to use like, hey, this is what I'm helping with. This is the pain point that I'm working with. But then there's also this other side of it that's really manipulative. And I don't like feeling manipulated and I don't want to manipulate other people. So I think there's such an important thing to take away here is when we connect with our authenticity, when we connect with our true selves, with our true desires, and we're doing the deconditioning with the healing work, then we can decipher and use our intuition to choose which is correct for us and what isn't correct for us so that our empathy, our compassion, and our minds aren't being manipulated. And we're not being fed things that really aren't necessary for us. And I think that's important for us to know ourselves and understand ourselves. And I think this is why I've had such a quest for understanding myself is I want to know where my core wounds are, where my core triggers are. Because if I know where they are, like I'm not worthy of love or I'm not important, then I know what my motivation is behind entering into certain things, behind buying certain programs or certain products, or even behind my motivation to help other people. And if I understand that about myself, then I can show up more authentically in a genuine way that might help make an impact on my life and the people around me.
So once again, the answers lie within. And once we get to know the inner self and honor her and respect her, all the parts of her, then we can easily choose what's for us and what's not. So another thing that I found within myself is this feeling of I need to hurry up and get myself fixed right away. And a lot of times when I'm watching other spiritual people online, I always will see myself as less than, and I need to hurry up and learn this or this or this to get caught up. I feel behind or less than. Oh my gosh, they're so much more intuitive than I am. They're so much more healed than I am. And I think that's something we need to be careful of. And that's the I'm broken and I need to fix myself really, really fast because I'm behind where I should be. And so I'm constantly telling myself that you are exactly where you are supposed to be right now in this moment. And the important thing is to just keep being open to growing and healing at the pace that's right for me. Do you guys ever feel that way?
I think when it comes to our group, I feel like I'm way behind. So, but other people, I'm just like, eh. Oh, great. They're having a great life, whatever. I don't feel like I need to catch up to them. But when it comes to you guys, I want to be on the same level.
And what makes you think you're not?
Well, because I don't take in clients like you guys do, and I don't have the confidence to do it.
Are you wanting to take in?
Not at the moment, so I guess that works for me.
So, and is taking in clients something that you've dreamed of doing? Is that the right thing for you to be doing in this lifetime? And I don't know the answer. I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, no, it's not.
So does that make you less than because you're not seeing clients if
Yeah,
seeing
no.
clients isn't for you, at least at this point in your life?
Yeah, no, no.
Yeah. I don't know. Isn't that mind can be.
Yeah, no, I'm perfectly happy where I'm at.
So you are exactly where you need to be.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
really want to answer this.
And Jennifer, you are the best one at seeing UFOs out of this group.
Yeah. There you
It's
go.
like we've all each got our strengths and we've each got our, things that we're not quite as good at. But
Yeah.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah. You got your
I'll
niche.
take it.
Yeah, you got the UFO niche.
Okay, I think I have my answer finally to your question. I don't think that I do that as much now as I did in the beginning, but there's always this subconscious need to compare yourself to somebody else's journey. And I think in the very, very, very beginning, and I just want to say it's been 6, almost 7 years that I have been working on myself, like very consciously. That's a very long time.
Mhm.
And I was in the very beginning when I'm just learning about like how to work with my trauma and going to therapy. I was comparing myself to people who were where I'm at right now. I was comparing myself to somebody who had spent 6, 7, 10 years on their healing journey. And if you ever tap into spirit or get a reading, the answer is always the same. You are exactly where you need to be right now. It's comparison that is the thief of our joy and our accepting of our own personal unique journey. We're not all going to be moving in the same pace, in the same direction. And you can't force healing. You can't force growth. It is something that kind of just naturally starts to happen as you start working towards things, but you have to let it unfold at its own pace.
Yeah, I didn't think I was ever going to get there.
Really?
Yeah, she was doing all this healing and she was coming and telling me all these things that she was going through. I'm like, I've just been sitting here twiddling my thumbs, waiting for it to happen to me and nothing. Yeah. Now I'm going through all sorts of fun.
Sometimes you need a catalyst too. You need somebody else in your environment to push you outside of your comfort zone and the
Mhm.
growth. Even just witnessing people who are doing that, whether it be on social media. I don't
Yeah.
want to like bash social media. Social media has a good place, but it comes back to discernment. But yeah, surrounding yourself with people that are at the growth that you want to be at eventually will help be that catalyst for your growth.
And growth is fun. I mean, it sounds scary at times. You do go through some shitty times, I guess, but it's also a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's not all shit.
No, just a little bit.
But here's the thing, when you're doing this growth, you're doing this healing, like you have room for experiencing the lows and knowing that they're just like passing ships in the night. And then you have more room for all the good, all of the excitement, all of the joy, and like the intensity of the pain that you can feel when you're in a low, the intensity of the good you can feel is equal, if not more.
Outweighs it.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I find myself much more often in a neutral place, which I really like, where I'm just going through my day. I'm enjoying the simple pleasures. I'm enjoying the people that I'm with. I like doing the things that I'm doing. And I'm not, super high, but I'm not low. And it used to be I felt low all the time,
Mhm.
every minute, every day, angry, frustrated, and didn't really understand why. And now there's so many moments of just simple pleasures of that I feel really neutral with just enjoying the process.
That sounds like over time things balanced out.
Yeah, they have definitely balanced out. And I also feel like when I do have challenges, I now have the tools to work through them, which is
Yes.
huge. So it's like when I do am feeling broken, I don't see it as broken. I see, oh, there's something up here that I just need to look at so that
Mhm.
I can more deeply understand myself and learn how to move forward, integrating that into my being.
And it happens so much quicker. I
Mhm.
mean, yes, there were times where hitting a low would take me months to come out of. My highs would last about a day, if if
If.
if that, and then I would be right back down to a low. And now it's
Mhm.
like my highs are not not like extreme, we're not talking manic highs, but my good days last months and months and months or weeks, and
Mhm.
and then I'll hit a low for maybe half a day, 6 hours out of my life, and then I go right back up to that baseline of where that joy is.
So I was talking to ChatGTP the other day, and I just wanted to highlight this one thing that it said. You are not broken for feeling this way. Your brain and body have been wired to survive, to protect you from past pain repeating itself. But the good news is now that you've made this connection, you can start to consciously shift how you respond.
Boom. I want a mic drop. You are not broken for feeling this way. Your brain and body are wired to survive. That's huge. Our brains and bodies are wired to survive. And any experience as your younger self or even as you are now that threatens survival, whether it be emotionally or physically, put your body into a state of fight or flight so it can protect you. And sometimes our bodies go through a lot of shit. We have to survive a lot of things, and our bodies kind of get stuck in that survival mode. But having awareness of it means that you are now empowered and that you can now start taking conscious control and making conscious changes and shifts, shifting out of survival mode and into creation mode. Many people operate from survival consciousness, always trying to fix or solve problems. But when we shift into this creation mode, we can stop reacting and start choosing our experiences.
Yeah, I think that my problem was I was having an argument with my husband, and I was like, why do I keep doing this one thing that I do in our arguments? I keep like forcing my thoughts or my opinions over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's actually powerful, Jennifer, that you're like, okay, I see my pattern.
Yeah.
Now I want to understand what the pattern is, where it comes from, and how I can move beyond it.
Yep.
Super
Yeah,
powerful.
Yeah.
which kind of circles us right back to the very beginning of what I was saying. It was like this need I have or this desire to really understand myself and my traumas and my behaviors and my patterns so that I don't have to live unconsciously by them, letting them dictate and control my life.
So yes, it's not I'm broken and I need to fix this. It's I've had experiences and I want to understand how those experiences are shaping me so that I can intentionally choose my way forward rather than repeating old patterns, integrating instead of fixing.
Holy cow, I feel like we covered so much today. We got so deep. This was such a layered conversation that I feel like we could probably talk about for days. But before we end the episode, I want to talk about Patreon real quick. If you remember last week, we announced that we are officially launching a Patreon subscription, and we are extremely excited about it. There's so much that we are offering in there as far as community and services, group healing opportunities, intuition workshops, and so much more. I strongly encourage you to check out our Patreon. The official launch date for this is March 16th. So if you're listening to this on the Friday that this is released, that's only 2 days away. The first 10 subscribers are going to get a one-on-one mini energy reading from Rose and I. We're extremely excited to offer that to you. Make sure to check out all the information. Description is in the show notes, or you could go to www.awakeningsoulspodcast and find more information there.
So, my beautiful souls, the next time you feel like you're broken, I invite you to pause, breathe, and remember you are not a problem to be solved. You are an experience unfolding. Growth is not about fixing yourself. It's about learning, exploring, expanding. You are not here to repair your soul. You are here to express it. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. If this episode resonated with you, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Share this with someone who might need to hear it. And as always, keep expanding, keep exploring, and trust that you are exactly where you need to be. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and remember, you are already whole and complete.